Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is titled Dinner Table. It is about a woman who finds herself falling for her husband's brother. Everything changes after a simple dinner. Let's dive right into the story. They say a dinner table brings people together, but that night it pulled us apart. Because once our hands touched under the tablecloth, we forgot where we were, who we were supposed to be, and what we were risking. And by the time dessert arrived, it was too late. We had already tasted something far more dangerous. The invitation was harmless on paper. Just a family dinner for couples, 8 seats, candlelight, soft jazz, and laughter that was meant to sound real. It was her idea. My husband's sister. She wanted us all to reconnect, reignite bonds, as she called it. We were placed next to each other, a sign like it was destiny's prank. Me and him, Nathan, her husband, my brother-in-law, and the man I had been silently fighting not to feel things for months. I told myself it was just a crush, just a phase. But even as I sat there, carefully placing my napkin on my lap, I knew I was in trouble. The room was full of chatter. Wine glasses clinked, jokes circled the table, but I only heard his voice. I only felt his eyes. He didn't talk much. He never did. But when he looked at me, God, when he looked, I forgot my husband was sitting beside me. His gaze held mine as if we shared a secret nobody else knew. Like we were writing a story beneath the surface, in glances and half smiles. And then it happened. His fingers brushed mine. Accidental, maybe, that neither of us pulled away. The table was long, the linen thick. No one could see what was happening beneath. Our legs touched once, then again, and then we didn't stop it. His hand rested on my knee, like it had always belonged there. I froze, the world tilted. I heard my husband laugh beside me, heard forks clinking, wine being poured, and yet I couldn't move. Because Nathan began to slide his hand up slowly, deliberately, just under my dress. I inhaled sharply. No one noticed. He didn't even look at me now. He just kept eating, one hand holding his fork, the other undoing me beneath the table. I was burning, shaking, and utterly lost. I shifted in my seat, not to get away, but to let him in. Every nerve in my body screamed this was wrong, but every second made it harder to stop. I looked across the table. My sister-in-law was talking to my husband about vacation plans, normal, innocent, while I sat there on fire. Nathan finally pulled his hand away, but not without dragging his fingertips down my thigh like punctuation. I should have left the table. I should have stopped it then, but I didn't, because now I was the one craving more. When dessert came, I couldn't taste it. All I could feel was the heat still lingering on my skin. Nathan leaned in slightly, his voice barely above a whisper. "You're trembling." "You shouldn't have," I replied, equally quiet. "You didn't stop me." The words hit like thunder. I looked at my husband. He was laughing beside me, clueless, trusting, and suddenly I hated myself. Because part of me wished he'd notice. Wished he'd see what was happening so I wouldn't have to keep choosing wrong. But he didn't, and I did. Dinner ended. Everyone helped their plates. I walked into the kitchen with a tray of glasses hands, shaking, guilt clawing up my throat. And there he was. Nathan followed me in, silent as always. We didn't speak. He reached past me to put down a dish, his body brushing against mine. My breath caught. "We can't," I whispered. "We already did," he replied. And then he kissed me, hard, desperate, not gentle, not sweet, but full of everything we'd buried under silence and smiles. I didn't push him away. I pulled him closer. We didn't go further, not that night, but the kiss changed everything. We returned to the table flushed, breathless. His wife didn't notice. My husband didn't either, but something in me had shifted. I felt like glass, like one more touch would shatter me completely. Nathan sat across from me now. Our legs no longer touched. We both avoided each other's gaze, but it was too late. We had tasted something we could never untaste, and no matter how full the table looked, we had already devoured each other. In the car, my husband drove us home. He hummed to the music, spoke about how great it was to see family. I stared out the window, silent. I could still feel Nathan's breath on my neck, his hand on my thigh, his mouth on mine. I hated myself, but I also hated how alive I felt, and that scared me more than anything. Weeks passed. I avoided him. He avoided me. But we still saw each other at family gatherings, still exchanged subtle glances across crowded rooms, still remembered everything we weren't supposed to. My marriage, it continued, polite, predictable, empty. I couldn't tell if I regretted what happened or just regretted stopping it. It happened again, another dinner, same house, same people, same seats, and as we sat down, our hands brushed again. This time, we didn't touch, but the tension was louder than words. I picked up my glass, trying to steady my pulse. Across from me, he looked up, and for just 1 second, he smiled, and that smile said everything we remembered. And we were both still hungry. Some meals fill your stomach, others feed your soul. And then there are the ones that ruin you forever. That night, we lost control right at the dinner table, and nothing was ever the same again.